Hello, this is a video response to Avalonmoon91, also known as the Australian Witch, regarding her post on whether it's necessary to be a blood witch or to use blood at all in ritual. And I decided to start with a little bit of show and tell. This is a talisman which one of my fellow coven members made for me, and she inscribed it with runes, and then she put her blood into those runes. After she had raised power in a ritual, done the inscription, she then grounded it all with some drops of her own blood. Now, I wanted to sort of think about what is it that makes blood potentially powerful. And the first thing that came to me was that our blood holds our DNA. That might not have been something that the old shamans knew about, and yet there is something in that. Our DNA, it's almost like a hologram. Every blood cell contains a microcosmic version of ourselves. Every single drop is the whole of us. With modern cloning methods, we could theoretically make a whole new person from that drop of blood. So that's something very powerful. A single drop represents the whole of us. It is the whole of us. Another question is, well, if we're doing all of this energetic work, why can't it be like Reiki, that, for example, we simply hold our hand over something and we can send that energy into it? And I think that that's a very relevant question. As I said when I showed my altar, I made these little goddess figurines for my altar, and after I had cast the circle and raised energy, I then poured that energy into them simply by holding them and willing it there, sending it there. And I think that's a perfectly valid way of going about things. However, there is still the question of grounding, because in all of this we can be working with energy at a very ethereal level. And in fact, the same coven member said about Reiki treatments that she would never charge for a Reiki treatment on its own. If she did a massage and added Reiki to it, she would charge for that. And if she did a tarot reading and either with the person there or at a distance sent Reiki healing, then she would also charge for that. But it would be more the tarot reading or the massage, which are far more tangible things, far more physical, either the physical touch or the physical email reading, or, that she would be charging for, and not the Reiki itself, because it feels too up in the air, too unreal, even though we know at an energetic level that it is very real. And so in that, blood can be something that grounds all that energy. It makes me think of the Kabbalistic tree, and that things start at a very ethereal level, but they become manifest in the kingdom of earth, in Malkuth. And so perhaps there is something there about when we have this energy, we need to ground it. And blood can be that grounding thing, in the sense that the blood is of our body. And when we're calling the quarters, for example, often we would say, I call on the north, and that could be represented by the goddess's body, or by earth, which is, of course, another variation of the goddess's body, of Mother Earth. And in the same way, our body is a representation of that. And so by putting a drop of our blood into something, we are grounding all that energy down into whatever it is that we are charging with that energy. Finally, on the point of it being perhaps a bit concerning that some particularly young people or people who have a history with cutting might see bloodletting as a justification for their self-harming behaviours, what I'd say to that is that for me, the way that I would do blood magic, I don't do it often, but when I do, what I do is I prick a finger with a pin or a needle, or you can even get those sort of pin prickers for doing blood tests in the pharmacy. And so I prick a finger and then I massage out a drop or two of blood. And as I said regarding the DNA hologram question, you really only do need a single drop for all that power and all that symbolic representation and for that grounding force. And that is how I would do blood magic. So it doesn't require cutting, it just requires a pinprick and a single drop of blood. So that's my response to why I might use blood magic and how I would use blood magic. I hope that you find it interesting, and if you do disagree, I'd be very keen to hear that. Blessed be.